All right, guys, welcome back. We are watching ReZero Season 2, Episode 8. Last time, we had a talk with Betty. Things didn't go too well, other than that, frankly. Subaru got imprisoned for several days. But we have a friend. We have Oto. Oto is awesome, and he's our buddy. So, I don't know. We didn't really make any progress at all, honestly. And of course, at the end of the episode, Garfield notices that Subaru's escaped and he's going beast mode. So I'm I don't know. A little bit worried about that, but surely everything will be okay, right? So I don't know. We're watching episode 8. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, of course, of course. He's her help. Yeah, yeah. Oh, of course. Hmm. What is Ota doing? Sure. Okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, okay. Do the trial? I guess, maybe, right? That would make sense. I don't know what else he's talking about, but okay, okay. Huh. Or talk to Rosewall. He's talking about talking to Rosewall? Maybe. Let me read the lyrics for once. I like this song. I think I liked the song from the second opening of the first season more, but I don't know. I haven't heard this one that many times, honestly. I think I like this opening more animation wise, for sure. Oh, Rem. God, there's too many characters now, huh? All right. Yeah, Rosewall. Okay, that makes sense. God, I hate Rosewall so much now. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, that really is just what it feels like, right? It just feels like Rosewall knows so much that we don't. Or that he's not telling us what he knows, obviously, right? We just don't know. Okay. Oh. I don't think it's that. No, it's not that simple, right? No, okay. Yeah. He's gonna be like, oh, when did that happen? Right. Oh, of course. Yeah. Hmm. I don't think it's that simple, though, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not that black and white, obviously. Yeah, yeah. Of course. I mean, awesome. How nice of you. How nice of you. Oh, okay. Something closely akin to a gospel. Okay, sure. Okay, but then what tells the true future? Okay. The Tome of Wisdom. Interesting. Where would they have gotten this Tome of Wisdom from? Okay. Oh, okay. So, like, the witch cultist ones are like fake versions of this Tome of Wisdom. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. I am that person. Right. I am that person. I just don't know if we can trust anything Rosewall is doing or saying here. I Oh, okay. I am that person. I sure, I don't know if you should go along with it. I don't know. Interesting. I just again, it's just like anytime Rosewall wants anything now, I just always think it's part of his greater plan of something, right? And I just don't know if we should ever be going along with anything he wants. I think he is. Maybe that's just me. Okay. It depends on how you define enemy, right? I think he's really is all in on this Amelia thing, like getting her to be, the ruler, but he's certainly doing things. You know what I mean? Yeah, I gotta go tell Beatrice. Sure. But again, so like what's the plan? We go to the mansion, Elsa's just gonna be there and attack immediately, right? I mean, unless we've just resigned ourselves to that outcome. I mean, I guess I don't know how we are ever going to go to the mansion and do this stuff with Beatrice without everyone dying. Hmm. I'm really thinking now. Oh, what's up, Garfield? Okay. Great. If you say so. If they say that, I'll believe you. Okay. Hmm. Can we fight him off? I don't know. I don't know how strong Garfield is in comparison to, you know. Yeah, maybe Ram can entice him. Oh God. Yeah, maybe we should just let Ram do the talking. Like I don't know. I exactly. What could it possibly mean? I okay. Of course, of course. I should have known. I should have known. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, there's the whole. It's just the whole witches scent thing again. And Subaru is acting, suspicious from his point of view. Obviously. Hmm. Of course. Yeah. It's all about Amelia. Obviously. Oh. Okay. We gotta go. Yeah. Come on. Surely Ram got this handled. What is that? Oh, okay. Right. Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I literally, actually. This is almost just going too well. I'm just assuming something horrible is going to happen, right? I mean, I don't know. Right. A landslide, of course. Should have seen that one coming. What on earth? Oh, he is big now. He sure is big now, huh? Right. Okay. What happened to Ram? I guess if we're just gonna die right now, it doesn't really matter. Um, well, he's not gonna want to kill Subaru, is he? So, God. Okay. Sure. Yeah, I mean, is he like sane right now, or has he lost his mind? Like, is he? Oh, God. No, God. Awesome. Great. Thank God. No, that is rough, right? Subaru having someone like this who's willing to do that for him. It's like the weight of that. I think we're dead. I don't know. I mean, it depends. I can't tell if Garfield is like if he's just, gone completely feral and has no idea what's happening. He's just like a wild animal right now. He's gonna murder everyone. If not, then he still might not want to kill Subaru, right? Oh, yeah. Ah, rough. Oh God, really? Oh, come on. Oh, The necklace. Okay. Were we teleported again? I mean, he didn't die. This isn't like a new respawn point, right? That would be. Yeah. Oh. Amelia? Puck? Well, no, this is. I mean, is this like when Puck destroys the world? When he turns into the beast of the end? Or just some crazy shit's going on, right? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. No one here. Yeah. Even like Rosewall's gone. Just no one is. Was the sanctuary freed? Go to the sanctuary. Go to the sanctuary, right? That's where we gotta go, surely. But I mean, to me, this seems like, you know, Puck destroying the world. But I don't know. Maybe this isn't violent enough for it to be that. Hi? I guess? What does that mean? It's chilling out. Just a rabbit. Oh! Right! Okay. No, of course. That's okay. Right, right. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that didn't go too well, I guess. There's a bunch of rabbits that are gonna kill us. What is happening? What, like, what? It's like, okay, if you say so. Rough? Yeah. Well, that sucks. Huh. Jesus Christ. What happened? Right. Okay. Yeah, that is a rough one. That's probably the most brutal, horrible death we've had. Oh God. And he's thrown right back into this situation with Amelia right here. Every fucking time. Oh God. Oh, hey, Echidna. What are we gonna talk about? Yeah, the witch factor thing. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Really, really trying to get that gratitude from him. Okay. Overwrite the vow. Sure. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, I don't know if you should say that. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Actually, what, you forget about that? That's like, whoa. So I don't know if we should be promising Echidna anything she wants. I feel like that's a little bit of a I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea. Are you gonna ask her things now? Like she offered you before? What's up, Hanakawa? Mm-hmm. Sure. Makes me think about this whole Book of Wisdom thing, right? Maybe. Depends what her perception of time is like. Yeah. Hmm. It's like now he has something he wants to ask her, unlike last time, right? I just don't know if we should. It just feels like a trick to me, right? Like it's like she's trying to buy his indebtedness to her almost, you know? I just don't know. Ugh. Yeah? Okay. No. No. The influence doesn't reach here. Okay. And he can tell someone about it. Hmm. But what does that mean, right? He can finally tell someone about it. Yeah. I think she just already knew. I don't think you do. Hmm. It's like he can finally talk to someone about it after all this time, you know? I just don't know if it's good that that person is Echidna, but. Uh, yeah. It's just this burden he's had this whole time. Doesn't mean you were alone, but yeah. Oh. She was watching. Okay. That'll be a long story. Yeah, yeah. Wants to know everything. Wants to gather new knowledge, huh? And how interesting Subaru has to be. The value of life. Very interesting. Huh, huh. I don't know what to think because I don't trust Echidna at all, right? So, kind of undermines the emotional moment for me because I understand, of course, how meaningful it is for Subaru to finally be able to talk about this to someone. But that person being Echidna, oh god, you know, man, I just, I don't know about that, right? I don't know if that's a good thing. Hmm. Okay. Well, we will talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. lots of stuff to ponder over from this episode for sure. I really don't know what to think about Rosewall and Echidna. I think it's not as simple as saying that either of them are like evil, right? It's never going to be that simple, like for sure, right? Especially with like Echidna. I think Echidna is like very different. You know, she is like a completely outside force in my mind, like everything going on here, right? Rosewall, he, I think, kind of just like Echidna as well. So I mean, they're very similar. I think he knows a lot of stuff about Subaru, and I think kind of just like everyone at this point, all of these like powerful forces, in some way he wants to use Subaru to do stuff, right? He's just very self-interested, right? It's very much his whole thing with this whole Amelia business. It's very like his all of his focus is on Amelia, and it's very much like, okay, he wants Amelia to like win and become the ruler. But I think that's all just for his ulterior purpose of killing the dragon. Again, whatever that even means, right? Like, I don't know, like, what that would do, or, like, what the purpose of that is. For all I know, killing the dragon would be, like, awesome, and maybe that would be, like, amazing. But, I don't know. Considering Rosewall, I think, is, like, hiding it, and isn't, like, telling anyone, other than Ram, right? I mean, the time when he said that he wants to kill the dragon was when he was like, doing the mana thing with Ram's horn, right? So I guess Ram does know that Rosewall wants to do that, which is something we haven't really talked about, but it is, I don't know, I guess it can't be that bad then. Maybe. I don't know. And Echidna, we'll talk about Echidna more when we get there. Anyway, we start off here, meeting up with Ram in the woods. She's gotten old. Or at least she was waiting here so long she got old, I guess. So we all teamed up to help Subaru. So there's all of this pressure, I guess, that Subaru is under, essentially from all of these people wanting to help him escape. In this case, I mean, it's to help him escape, right? But it's essentially just wanting to help him, right? I think it's interesting. It makes a lot of sense following the last episode, especially with Oda's death in this episode too, because I think it is a kind of pressure that Subaru hasn't really had before, which is all of these people who really want to help and support him and are willing to hurt themselves in the pursuit of that, right? Like, I mean, Oto literally saved Subaru and died for him, and that's like something that Subaru now just kind of has to like be able to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, I think that forces Subaru to like value himself more in a sense. At least I guess that would be the answer to like his problem with this, right? Because it's not like you can avoid other people caring about you, right? Like in Subaru's mind, I think it would be easier like mentally for him for other people to like not want to do that for him, right? It would be easier if Garfield had just cut his head off. He didn't have to see Oto die. He didn't have to see all these people die, right? He would have liked that more, right? But that's just not how like relationships work, right? Oto's his friend. That was like the point of the end of the last episode, and because his relationship with Oto is like this, that's just like a weight that he has to like be able to deal with. You know what I mean? Like it's just I think that's very important, right? Because that's always been part of Return by Death that has been like a questionable thing that it's like we really got to try and get past is the way that Return by Death kind of devalues Subaru's life, like in his own eyes. You know what I mean? Because of course he can just die and start over, right? Um, but it's like the long-term effect of that, I think, is it makes him not value his own life compared to the lives of others, right? And again, maybe it is for a meaningful reason, because of course he is effectively immortal, but it's really something to think about, right? And him being confronted with Oto deciding to die instead of him, right? I don't know, that's just really, I think that's very meaningful, like, or it could be very meaningful if Super lets it be, like, for him, and, like, his self-image of himself, you know what I mean? Um, in a sense, it really makes sense because Return by Death devalues Subaru's life only for himself, right? It's only like an internal thing. It's only the way he views his own life because no one else knows about Return by Death, and like that makes so much sense because that's like Subaru's whole thing, right? Him not having valued himself as like a person at all, right? And with Return by Death, it's like that, like it's like an in-universe like mechanic that like works off of that. You know what I mean? It makes so much sense now. So Subaru wants to go talk to Rosewall, of course. Rosewall says some very interesting things. So we talked to Rosewall. I won't let you hide anything from me this time. Well, I think Rosewall is always hiding things from you. So, I don't know. So, Subaru talked to Betty about... So he wants to ask Rosewall about, his conversation with Betty. The whole thing about the gospel. So Beatrice is not a member of the witches' cult, of course, right? I guess we still don't really know what it means exactly to be a member of the witches' cult, like, exactly, right? But yeah, I certainly don't think Beatrice is in the same way, right? There was the weird flashback with her and Petalgeese, right? Like, she knew Petalgeese, right? She even mentioned, like, the weird witch factor thing, So, or did she say witch factor, or did she just say the thing about the authority? I don't remember what the exact word she used was. But, so, I mean, she certainly knows a lot about this kind of thing, and she knew Petalgeese and all of this, right? But I don't think she's a member of the witch's cult, right? I don't think it's that simple, right? I guess Rosewall, of course, says that she's not, but, like, can we trust the word that comes out of his mouth? I don't know. Also, the obvious point of this, too, is I think, like, if there's even a point in bringing it up anymore, through Subaru, talking to Rosewall about all of this, just Rosewall has to know about Return by Death, right? Like, for sure. Like, 100%, right? Subaru randomly shows up and starts talking to him about this nonsense about Beatrice when, like, the last time they talked, it had, Subaru had, like, didn't know any of this, right? And it's like, if Rosewall is the one who hired Elsa, then obviously Rosewall also knows that Subaru didn't go back to the mansion in these 3 days somehow, right? No, it has to be so obvious from Rosewall's point of view, Man. So Subaru wants to say that makes her our enemy, or my enemy, I guess, right? He doesn't want to put himself on the same side of Rosewall in a sense, but words that hold little weight, seeing the pained expression on his face, right? And I guess in a sense that makes so much sense, because it's like it's not that simple, right? We can't just say anyone is just our enemy like that. It's not that easy, right? Maybe even the witch cultists, we can't say it's so easy to just say they're just our enemy and that's it, right? Because we don't have all the info about it, right? Obviously, for Betty, it's a much more, like, personal, emotional reason, right? He has this connection with her. He doesn't just want to say she's his enemy, right? That would be rough. Especially because there's a lot of reason for Subaru to feel betrayed by a lot of things over the past few episodes, So, like, by Rosewall, and by, just a whole bunch of crazy shit has been going on, right? By Frederica, perhaps, right? But I mean, that's kind of been cleared up in a sense. So it's like, if this was true about Beatrice, she's our enemy too. I mean, it's like, that would be awful. But she isn't, right? I'm certainly for sure that she is not our enemy. That would be horrible. But it would be a lot easier to, like, think of it in that way, like, for Subaru. The idea that you and she become enemies is truly awful, so we'd like to offer you a helping hand. Of course, Rosewall ever offering a helping hand. That really... Yeah, that's got to be one of the shadiest statements ever, for sure. What she has is something closely akin to a gospel. It is a magical grimoire that tells the true future, of which only 2 copies exist in the world. It is the closest there is to the Tome of Wisdom. So what does this make me think? So there's this book that's... I guess it's the closest thing to the Tome of Wisdom. I guess it's not literally the Tome of Wisdom. It just doesn't have a name, right? I mean, that's what he says later. There's a book that has the true future written in it, which makes sense. It makes sense why Beatrice would become so obsessed with it. It makes sense why anyone would become so obsessed with it. If you have this book and everything in it just keeps coming true, and it's just like, it's the future, you know what I mean? It would be so easy to, like, lose any meaning in your own actions or, like, anything at that point, right? Because then it's like, what? That means everything has to be, like, predetermined, you know what I mean? That would be fucking insane, right? Again, there are questions about that, because we have seen Beatrice do different things across different timelines, right? So then that leads you to question, like, how could the book possibly account for the entirely true future if we have literally seen the future be different through different timelines, right? Like, again, it's like there's early episodes, like when Beatrice formed the contract with Subaru, and, after Rem died and Rem was coming to kill him, all that stuff happened, right? That was a completely different route than what ended up happening, like, later in that same timeline, you know what I mean? So, like, the book couldn't have accounted for both of those things. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's tells the future. He calls it the Tome of Wisdom, or the closest thing to the Tome of Wisdom, which makes you think of Echidna, right? Echidna really wants to gather wisdom, right? Like, I really like what we do with Echidna, because it's like we take the idea of greed and we're like kind of exploring this different angle of it, which is like greed in the sense of wanting to know everything, right? She really wants to just accumulate knowledge, right? Um, so in a sense, and Echidna kind of said that she like knows everything, right? She has kind of said that before, right? Like she told Subaru that she could answer any question he has, right? And the reason I'm bringing that up is because this book, if there's two possibilities with it. Either we could say it came from Echidna, right? Like we know Echidna had a close relationship with Rosewall, or with the Mathers family, maybe not Rosewall specifically, at some point, right? There was a relationship between them. So if this book, Beatrice has this book related to Rosewall, the Mathers family, all this stuff, right? We could say that Echidna wrote it, or somehow gave it to Rosewall. Somehow Beatrice has it now. I don't know why Beatrice would have it, but, like, stick with me here, right? It's the Tome of Wisdom. Echidna, like, knows everything and is all about wisdom. She could have written it. The other option, which is maybe more likely, is that this Tome of Wisdom is something that Echidna, like, wants, right? If it is a book that tells you everything about the future, well, what isn't that something she'd really be interested in? Because there's no way to know if Echidna knows about the future, right? If she could know everything about the present and the past, but she might not know about the future. So she could be very interested in this Tome of Wisdom that knows everything about the future as well. Of course, I really doubt that the book knows everything about the future, but, that's besides the point. So I don't know. It just really makes me think about Echidna. Either it being originated from her in some sense, or she really wants it. I have no idea what either of those things like mean, like where we would be going with those. But I don't know. I don't know. Huh. Yeah, so I mean, Beatrice called it a gospel, but like, yeah, it's a gospel in like a sense, by it being like kind of like a divine text almost that certainly seems to be fulfilled, certainly from Beatrice's point of view, I assume, right? Thus, it is given the same name and used for the defective versions. Yeah, so I guess the implication here is that the gospels that the witch cultists have are like fake, imperfect versions of this book, which is weird. So Rosewall tells Subaru to say this, to say Rosewall said you were to ask the question. Same thing that Ram said. And then Rosewall is more specific and says to Subaru to say, I am that person. What does this make me think? This has to be in reference. This obviously is in reference to something that Beatrice knows that we don't know, right? Beatrice has the book that tells the future, allegedly. So this has to mean, like, Subaru saying, I am that person, it has to mean something about this book, right? Like, for sure, Something about, some kind of person that has been, I don't know, foretold or something, some kind of prophesized person, right? And Subaru apparently is that person, right? Is Subaru that person? Maybe. Has Rosewall decided that, like, let's say Rosewall has the same kind of info that Beatrice does. Has Rosewall now decided that Subaru is that person, right? This is we're kind of bringing it back to, like, I guess, the basis of the whole show and why Subaru's here in the first place, right? Is Subaru that person? We don't know why Subaru was brought here to this world in the first place at all, right? Think it has something to do with fulfilling Satella's goals and all this weird stuff, right? Maybe if Rosewall knows the same thing, maybe, like, Subaru is that person. Maybe this does kind of go back to why Subaru is in this world in the first place, right? I don't know, maybe. If you do that, she will, without a doubt, ally with you. How can you be so sure? Because she is because it is in the contract that she is powerless to override. That she would ally with whoever that person is. Very weird. I just don't know what to make of it. I am just not sure. If this doesn't work, I'll punch you right in the face. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once you have allied with Beatrice, she would surely be a great help in solving all the problems concerning the sanctuary. Also, something I was thinking about with this too. Let's say it seems like Roswaal wants Subaru to do this, to ally with Beatrice, whatever this means, right? To tell her this thing about being that person and all of this, right? If I'm viewing this all in the context of this is all crazy Roswaal master plan business, if I think Roswaal hired Elsa at the mansion, and again, the only reason I think that is because Roswaal hired Elsa before, like for sure. I think he just had to, for like the same reason that he did all the other crazy shit, right? So let's say he's hired her again at the mansion now. I was thinking, like, okay, how on earth is Subaru going to go to the mansion and do this with Beatrice and not have Elsa just kill everyone, right? Because if Roswaal hired Elsa, then he would know about that, obviously. He would know that Elsa's waiting there to murder everyone, right, when Subaru shows up. But maybe this is like a trap, in the sense of the only way that Subaru is going to not have Elsa kill everyone is to ally with Beatrice in this way, right? Because we assume Beatrice is, of course, powerful enough to kill Elsa, probably, right? And we saw in the beginning of the last episode that Beatrice just wasn't doing anything. She wasn't helping to fight Elsa, right? She let Elsa kill Subaru right in front of her. So if Subaru goes there and allies with Beatrice in this way, I assume then that Beatrice would help fight off Elsa, and that'll be that, right? Is that the entire thing? Is this a specific situation Roswaal has set up to make Subaru do this? Like, maybe. But, like, what does that mean? Right? Because it's almost like the only choice Subaru has in this case is to make this contract, I guess, or go through this weird contract thing with Beatrice, right? Tell her I'm that person. She has a contract that makes her, I guess, have to ally with him. It's kind of unclear what this is, you know what I mean? And then that will, and then she'll be able to fight off Elsa, because she'll be allied with Subaru, I guess, But if Roswaal wants that, then, like, I don't know if we want that, right? But at the same time, I mean, it certainly seems Beatrice's situation kind of fucking sucks, right? So I kind of want Subaru to at least go try this, but I don't know. Maybe I'm really overthinking it, but, like, it makes sense to me. You're not actually our enemy, are you? Of course not. I'm an ally to all of you. And unfortunately, I don't think it's that simple as Roswaal just being our enemy. I would like it to be that simple, the same way I think it would be very simple to just say Beatrice is just the witch cultist and that's it. Even though obviously that would be like a hard emotional thing for Subaru to accept, right? But it's not that simple, right? I don't think Roswaal is just our enemy. He's being very, like, duplicitous and very sinister in his actions, right? He's not, I don't know, he could, like, be normal, and that would be pretty nice. But, I don't know. He's planning stuff, he has ulterior motives, but I don't think it's so easy to say that he's just our enemy, and that he's just evil, right? I don't know. So, we are gonna leave, go to the mansion. It's interesting that Subaru still talks like this. Has Subaru... I don't know, I'm not, like, overthinking this, right? Because Elsa said a couple episodes ago that essentially that she was, like, waiting for Subaru to show up, right? Like, she said, like, oh, you showed up earlier than I thought, right? So, like, the implication to me was that she's literally waiting for Subaru to show up at the mansion before she attacks. But, like, what Subaru says here is that we can't leave Frederica to fend for herself. I mean, it seems like he still isn't thinking of it in that way, right? Because in my mind, it's like, okay, if we go to the mansion, then that's when Elsa attacks, right? I thought that was the implication behind what she said. But Subaru, it doesn't seem like he's thinking of it in that way. Because he's still talking about how we have to go help Frederica, not die. Okay, well, no. I'm forgetting how the first time Elsa did... Well, I guess we didn't see. We didn't see what happened in the mansion exactly, right? But Elsa was just kind of chilling in the mansion already when Subaru showed up there the first time. Assumedly, maybe having already killed everyone. So, okay, now maybe it just is that when Subaru shows up, she does attack for sure. But there is also just a point where she's going to attack the mansion anyway. I don't know. It seems like she was given very specific orders, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, and it's just too... Who knows? Roswaal-sama did order me to help you, and that just worries me. Was the half a man comment necessary? God, I love Ram. Anyway, Garfield shows up and he's red now, so that's bad news. And as they say, the brighter it shines, the farther away the Magruza goes. That is a very, very nice idioms from Garfield always. A deep lesson can be learned from that line, for sure. I am really not sure what to think about Garfield and like his motivations, right? So he's very suspicious of Subaru, and he's very suspicious of Subaru because Subaru is like doing weird shit and acting like very suspicious from his point of view, right? And I understand that, but I feel like there's definitely something deeper to this that we just like don't understand yet, like why Garfield is acting like this, Um, I don't know. I'm just not sure. There's just still so much about the whole situation we don't know. I guess that's just it, right? Hmm. Because, like, what? Because his reason. Because to me, like, the reason for them locking Subaru away in the first place in the last episode, Ryuzu and Garfield, was because Subaru was saying all this crazy shit about how he's going to do the trial instead of Amelia and all of this and blah, blah, blah. And that's, like, not. And I don't know if it's just they're very suspicious of Subaru because of the witch's scent and because of him acting so suspicious just in general and all of this, right? But there's also like the whole like Rosewall also wants Amelia to go through the trial, right? So I don't know if they just think Subaru's just gonna ruin everything. I don't know. I really I don't know what to think about it. I don't know what to think about Garfield's motivations essentially, or Ryuzu at all. But we've seen Ryuzu in like 2 scenes, so I just have no idea. Hoshin was Banon's sunset is a saying based on the tale of how the legendary trader Hoshin brought the small nation of Banon to ruin. It gives your opponent 2 options: surrender or face an all-out attack. I should have known that. I mean, obviously, this like, come on, that was so obvious. Hmm. Wait, let me read that again. It's bad for you if I stay, so why wouldn't you jump at the opportunity to get rid of me? I don't know what the hell you are. That means I can't let you outside. I don't know. I don't know. Just weird. Just weird. I don't know. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Because Garfield doesn't care about Rosewall, obviously, so this has nothing to do with what Rosewall wants, right? I would say it just has to be something about wanting, about the sanctuary and protecting the sanctuary and all of this, right? And for some reason, Garfield thinks uh, Subaru's actions are going to do something to harm the sanctuary, I have to assume. I just don't know, like, what connection he's making in his mind to think that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Anyway, we start running. We kind of talked about this, right? It's like all of these people holding these lanterns, right? It's like all of this is so representative of all of these people now who care so much about Subaru and want to help him, right? And it's like the weight of that on Subaru's mind is something that he has to deal with now, Because it's like, as he says at the end of this episode, he's been alone this whole time in a sense, you know what I mean? At least that's how he's felt, right? In the sense of he's had to face all of these problems in his own mind, essentially like alone, right? He's had other people all the time, of course, help him so much. That's always been the key to him getting through these horrible situations he's in, right? But having all of these people kind of committed to him in this way, committed to helping him, to the point where, like, as we said, Oto will literally die to save Subaru. It's just this weight on Subaru's mind that I think is really hard for him to, like, to grapple with, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, because I think it makes him confront the idea of his life having more value to other people than, like, I guess than he thinks it, like, deserves, you know what I mean? Because of course, from his point of view, he would always be the one who dies instead, right? Probably not even just because of return by death, right? I mean, because that's just such a hard thing to stand, you know what I mean? I think for most people, the idea of someone dying, pushing you out of the way and dying for you, even if you don't have serious self-esteem problems, that's a hard thing to, like, mentally deal with, you know what I mean? To, like, man, yeah. But Garfield's a giant tiger cat thing. now. He's red. Um, and I don't know, does Garfield... I can't tell if Garfield has just lost his mind completely and he's just got completely feral, or what. His beast form is certainly a lot scarier than Frederica's. Maybe that makes sense, because he is half beast, and Frederica is only a quarter. But, you know, I don't know. And Patrash dies too, which is just horrifying. And the blue necklace activates, and something happens. I don't know if we got teleported again, and we're back in the sanctuary, and it's snowing. Um, we don't really get an answer, but when I see snow everywhere, I immediately think it has something to do with Amelia slash Puck, right? Because, I mean, they're the snow people, right? The whole thing about, like, Puck destroying the world if Amelia ever dies, maybe, right? I don't know if that's what this is. That seemed a lot more violent than this, right? When Puck was saying this before. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Everyone's gone, though, so, like, what happened? Is this real, right? Because, I mean, there was just the weird shit with the necklace activating, but, like, I don't know. Like, what is happening? What is happening? And then these rabbits kill him. Like, I don't know. Am I supposed to know, like, what's up with these rabbits? They're kind of cute. They're cute little rabbits. They got, like, cute little horns, you know? I guess that means they're witch beasts, right? Witch fiends, because they have the horns, right? But, man, brutal, I guess. Rough. They eat him. It's, I don't know. This is the most gruesome, horrifying, terrible death we've had, probably. So that's rough. And just like God, and just like always, Subaru wakes up right next to Amelia, and he immediately is just in this. He's just not, yeah, like not in the state to deal with this at all. Like, obviously. But Echidna comes to talk to him immediately, and it's very interesting. Yeah, he's like immediately he's calmed down so much by Echidna's presence here, right? And it's like, in his mind, he says he wants to keep remembering her so he can remain this calm, in a sense, right? So we can always remember her. But I just wonder why this even calms him so much, right? Like, just the idea of having remembered her. Like, what, it's not like that really does anything to fix the situation that just made him lose his mind, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Huh. It directly affected your sloth witch factor, encouraging stability. Okay, like, sure. I guess that's the explanation for why I feel so calm here in a minute, right? But, like, we link it to this whole thing about him remembering her, right? Like, she says, if not for that, your soul would have crumbled to pieces. And he says in a second that he really just wants to keep remembering her, so what? His soul won't crumble to pieces? But is that the thing, though? Like, if he remembers her, would he just always remain calm like this? Like, that doesn't really make any sense, right? I don't know. As long as you remember what happened here, you should be fine. I guess I just don't understand the connection there. If it's his sloth witch factor encouraging stability, whatever that means, and that's what made him feel so calm here, what does it have to do with him remembering what happens here? I don't know. I don't really understand. I don't understand the connection between those things. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Overwrite the vow that makes me forget about you once I step outside. So long as it stands, my soul is still likely to fall apart. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get what about specifically remembering her would make it so much easier to not fall apart in that way. You know what I mean? Hmm. I want to be able to remember you regardless. If it comes at a price, I'll pay whatever you want. I don't know if we should be telling the Witch of Greed that you will pay any price no matter what. That just seems risky to me. Maybe that's just me, but I just don't. I don't trust Echidna, but I think Echidna, it's kind of just the same thing. I don't think Echidna is evil. I think it is just like everyone else, I guess, just like Rosewall. I think it is self-serving, and Subaru has the ability to do things that she is interested in, right? I guess he has a bunch of knowledge about things that she would be interested in for sure, because she wants to know everything, I guess. She really wants to gather knowledge, very greedy, right? And that makes sense. But I think she wants more from him than that. Um, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Because I mean, if this was her goal the whole time, which the first time they talked, it seemed like it, right? She was kind of like tempting him with like being able to ask her any question, almost trying to form the sense of indebtedness. Well, it's like she's achieved that now, right? He certainly has the sense of indebtedness to her. But what did she want to achieve that for, right? If you're asking what I know only what I know. If you're asking me what I want to know everything in this world. And that's why this whole the Tome of Wisdom thing is interesting, right? Hmm. And he says it. He says he can return by death. I've been returning by death. So we can finally talk to someone about it. And of course I understand how awful and horrible it is for Subaru to not have been able to talk about this for so long, right? It is this horrible emotional burden he has had for so long that he has just been having to deal with by himself, right? And I understand that's like terrible, right? Um, and of course, I mean, it must feel very nice just to be able to say it to anyone, no matter who they are, right? I just don't know the person it being echidna. I just don't know if that's a good thing, right? Because I don't trust her. I don't trust her at all, right? Um, so I guess she's lucky that she's in this position where she is the only person that Subaru is able to talk to about this. That's going to win her a lot of points. I just don't know. I just don't trust her, right? I just don't trust her. So, like, emotionally, this is very meaningful for Subaru to be able to do this, of course, right? Um, but like this fucking, I don't know, like this screen is creepy, right? This is just like the lines at the beginning of the Frozen Bond, like the lines to Puck about his contract, right? About his purpose, you know? Hmm. I know every step you've taken on your path here, I was watching. But watching is all I was doing. If you can, I'd like you to tell me about yourself, what you have thought, how you have felt, and how much weight you have carried. I want to know. After all, I'm the Witch of Greed who wants to know everything this world has to offer. Echidna. Hmm. So, I mean, if all that is in it for her is getting this knowledge, and that is truly all she wants, then maybe it's fine. Maybe we can just have a nice buddy-buddy relationship with Echidna. Subaru can use her as a therapist because he can talk to her. You know, sounds great. And she can just have all the knowledge she wants. I'm fine with that. If she has other ulterior motives beyond this to, like, use Subaru for, which just, it seems like everyone powerful wants to do that, then that's where my concerns lie about all of this, right? So I don't know. I'm just not sure. Um, to talk about something completely different, because I thought about this while I was talking a little bit ago. The Tome of Wisdom, or I guess it's not the Tome of Wisdom, the nameless book that tells the future. It's very. I think it is interesting thematically. I know this is completely random. I just stick with me. I think it's interesting thematically because it brings up the idea of things being predetermined, right? Whenever in stories there is the idea of the future being predetermined, it immediately, like almost always, something that is explored from there is the idea of like powerlessness, right? The idea that you're powerless to change the future, that you can't do anything, that's like kind of always a struggle that like the characters will go through in a story where there's like fixed, predetermined time travel or the future can't be changed, right? That kind of thing. Um, I think that's very interesting with this kind of story, with like what we're doing here, right? Because Return by Death has always given us the ability to change the future and do whatever, to get the outcome we want. You know what I mean? It's kind of been the ultimate way for Subaru to like exert his willpower on the world. You know what I mean? Like as long as Subaru has the will and the ability to still do things and he doesn't break down like he was at like the beginning of episode 18, right? Then he can do anything, right? Return by Death is infinite power as long as you can do it, right? And I think the Book of Wisdom, the idea of like this predetermined future that like Beatrice feels trapped by, kind of it represents like the opposite of that, right? It means that she thinks her actions mean nothing and that she can't do anything because everything she does is predetermined in this book, right? That just tells the future. So if that book is kind of the book and Return by Death are kind of like opposing forces in that case, right? They're kind of like they kind of represent opposite things, like the book for Beatrice and Return by Death for Subaru, you know. So if we want to say that book is in some way related to Echidna, then I just think that's interesting because then you could almost say Echidna is representative of an opposing force to all of these like ideas that Return by Death represents, right? In like that weird way, right? But I don't know. I don't know if we're going anywhere with that, or like if that is even going to be a thing that's like brought up at all, right? It's just something I thought about, and it makes so much sense, like thematically, like the contrast between this idea of predetermined future through the book and like infinite possibility with Return by Death. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just curious where we're gonna go with that. Um, I should have talked about that earlier when we actually got to the book stuff. But like, what are you gonna do? Okay, I guess that's it. Lots of stuff in this episode. I feel like I didn't cover everything because there's just so much stuff you could talk about in this episode. But you know what? I did my best. So yeah, I guess that's it. Subscribe, please, if you enjoy my videos. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I will see you in the next one.